Is James here? I think we can start.
I agree. Let's start.
Hi guys, you can hear me? Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Uh, Hope everyone is doing fine today, and I'm happy to see you here. I know we've changed a lot of things, but change is good. As we start this meeting today, Albert had requested to take us through resilience, which is a really important topic and its importance. And before we start, I'd like to say that this session today, this is a safe space. Yeah, anything we talk about here is just for your personal improvement. It is not being used for anything else. And yeah, so I'll give Albert the opportunity to start the meeting. Albert, you can take over.
Hello.
Yeah, Albert, you can take over.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, fine. So, good evening, everyone, from whichever part of the world you're joining us from. I'm Albert Migoa. For those who don't know me, I'm a counseling psychologist by profession, mostly focusing on community counseling, training and coaching on emotional intelligence and digital wellness. Presently working with a couple of organizations, most notably the Kenya Red Cross, Columbia University, Columbia Global Centers, offering psychosocial support, mostly for youth in informal settlements between the ages of 15 to 30 years old. Besides that, I'm heavily passionate in the area of IT, and just closely aligned to that, I presently head the communication and PR docket at the Internet Society of Kenya, as well as I'm at the secretariat of uh, the first Lego League competition in East Africa. So, without much ado, I'll move straight into today's presentation. I intend for the session to be very brief, a maximum 40 minutes. I'll be very brief and concise and to the point. Having said that, my sessions are always very participatory, so I'll call on each and every one of us to participate in today's session. And when I do so, kindly do so. Just a few ground rules. When one of us is speaking, let's put off our mic so we can hear them clearly. And the event you want to ask a question, kindly raise up your hand. If you're not able to comment verbally, you're free to use the chat box. So, back to today's topic of discussion, resilience and why it is important. So, for me, I would like to begin by asking each and every one of us, what do you think resilience is? What is resilience? What is resilience? Kindly share your thoughts. What is resilience according to you? What do you think it is? Yes, kindly. Have you heard me? James,
Hello?
Linda, have you heard my
Yes,
question?
yes, I would like to answer the question.
Perfect. Go ahead.
I believe resilience is when you keep on pushing regardless of the odds, the obstacles, you keep on pushing and um I don't know, like you keep on working towards your goals or bettering yourself despite any obstacles you may be facing.
Thank you very much, Linda. Yes, Empress.
Okay, thank you, Albert, for that. And I want to say that I would like to define resilience from various approaches, and maybe I will begin with psychological resilience, which typically refers to an individual's ability to mentally or emotionally cope with a crisis or return to pre-crisis status quickly. And then we also have what we call environmental resilience, which refers to the capacity of ecosystems to recover from disturbances such as natural disasters, like we recently had floods in Kenya, climate change, or human activities, like when we have people cutting down trees. And while doing that, it has to maintain their essential functions and structures. And then we also have economic resilience. And this is the ability of an economy to withstand and recover from shocks such as financial crisis, disasters, or pandemics, like we had the uh, COVID-19 pandemic, which kind of affected the economy in Kenya. And then we also have social resilience, which is the ability of communities and societies to withstand and recover from adverse situations such as social upheavals, economic downtowns, and environmental changes. I think that's what I'd like to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Empress, for that. You've gone to the various types, which is also good. Somebody else would like to share?
Hi, sorry, I
Yes,
didn't raise
Suzanne?
my hand. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe resilience is being able to overcome a hard situation or getting back onto your feet after maybe going through a hard time or just getting up after falling. Yes.
Thank you very much. Anybody else? Alan? Any gentleman, kindly? I'd like to hear your voice as well. Dolphin, are you there? Grace, Susan, Saumu, Breezy, Alan?
Uh, I don't know what you have been talking because I've come late. I think so. So maybe if you pardon what you have been talking about.
Yeah, I've asked people what's the understanding of the word resilience?
Resilience. Resilient or resilient?
Resilience. The topic of discussion today is resilience. Why? What is resilience? Your thoughts?
So I think it's the capacity to recover quickly from maybe difficulty or a certain setback, something like that.
Very much, Alan. Anybody else? So I don't leave anyone behind. Kindly, if you're not speaking, please mute your mic. If not speaking, kindly mute your mic. So, if I may just sum up what we've said. So according to the American Psychological Association, they define resilience as the process of adapting well in the face of adversity, trauma, tragedy, threats, or significant sources of stress. It could be a family issue, it could be a health issue. The idea is bouncing back in spite of barriers or setbacks. And the interesting thing about it is not just bouncing back from adversity, but you bounce back and succeed. And as you've mentioned, we recently experienced a very traumatic event. Those are the floods. And now we're talking about after the post, and here, moving forward, we need to figure out how best can we handle such occurrences when they arise. How best can the victims handle the new way of life with all the dynamics that are involved right now? So it's very important for us to understand that. Now, before we proceed on, I'd like someone to share, to give us a scenario where they showcased resilience. Any volunteer? Kindly, if you're not speaking, please mute your mic. Lillian, Victoria, kindly mute your mics. Can the host kindly mute Lillian and Victoria's mic? Anyone who's willing to share an experience where they showcased resilience, just for us to have an understanding of the word? Yes, Empress? Empress, you can go ahead.
Not really, but pass.
Oh, I saw your hand was up. That's why. Sorry.
Mhm.
Okay. Anyone else? Yes,
Uh,
Kalinet. Yes, go ahead.
for
Good
example,
evening, everyone. Sorry. Oh, Mr. Albert, I thought you gave me the opportunity to at least explain on resilience.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I think the best way maybe we can check on resilience in terms of agriculture and food sustainability. When the communities have the knowledge that they can make crop rotations and at least grow some kinds of food that is that can be sustained in that particular climate, something like that. And then maybe when when there are when there are droughts, I think the community can be resilient through digging of boreholes and maybe purchasing of water storage equipment, something like that.
Thank you very much, Kalinet. And that's a very good example of resilience. What solutions do we have to address a given solution, to address a given problem, and not just address it, but ensuring that we succeed and thrive. Now, resilience comes in the various components, or I call them aspects of resilience, or what constitutes what resilience is. Could there be anyone who may like to give that a try? What do you think are some of the aspects of resilience? Simply put, for you to be resilient, what traits must you possess? What do you think? Let's give it a try. Remember, there's no right or wrong answer.
I think one important aspect of resilience is something I'd like to call emotional regulation. And this is the ability to manage and respond to emotions in a healthy way. And you need to be mindful of what you say. And that means you also have to manage your stress and have emotional intelligence. Yes.
Thank you. Anybody else would like to give it a go?
Yes. So I think one must be able to adapt to the circumstances. If, for example, it's something that you're going through a hard time, and it's not something that you can't change the circumstances, you can change how you deal with it.
Thank you, Susan. Anyone else? Gentlemen, no, you're very quiet. Yes,
Albert,
Empress?
you
Yes,
can also
Empress, go
talk
ahead.
about self-efficacy, whereby you have to believe in your ability to influence events and outcomes, and you also need to have the confidence in solving your problems, and that means you need to have problem-solving skills and abilities. Yes.
Okay, thank you. I hear from James. James?
Albert,
Yes?
I've remembered something else. Another aspect is adaptability, whereby someone has to be flexible in their thinking and behavior, and that means they're able to adjust to new circumstances and environments, what I love to call acclimatize, and that kind of adaptability helps to enable individuals not to crash in certain situations, those who are fond of crashing. Yeah.
Very, very good. Thank you very much. Dolphin?
Albert, can I add one? Oh,
Yes, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Dolphin. Optimism is right. Yes, James?
I think, Albert, when we talk about resilience, even being aware of where you are is
Mm-hmm. I think we lost you, James. Somebody else? As James tries to get back. Anyone else would like to give it a go? Okay. So we've mentioned a few of them. We've got adaptability, which is being able to adjust to new circumstances, despite the unexpected, the unfavorability of those circumstances. We've got mental toughness, which is basically the strength to endure stressful situations and maintain positivity. We have, as was mentioned, emotional regulation, ability to manage our emotions, especially in times of traumatic life events or various life setbacks. We have also optimism, which is maintaining a positive outlook towards life and your future whenever you're faced with difficulties. We also have problem solving, where you come up with solutions to various challenges and problems. Support system, you know, and here we're looking at having a network of supportive relationships, whether it is your friend, family, or community. And as was mentioned, self efficacy, which is belief in your own ability to influence events and outcomes in life, which and this fosters a sense of control and also empowerment. Are we together so far? Are we together? Just show me a thumbs up if you're together. So I know we're together. Thumbs up. Okay. Thank you, George. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Dolphin. Great. Perfect. So, on to the final part. of my presentation today, the various forms of resilience. Now, here, there's something called, I want to connect this types of resilience to something in psychology we call the wheel of life. And the wheel of life, what it suggests is that as a human being, we are comprised of various components. Various components make up who we are. And the idea is this: to always try to get a balance in each of them. We may not be 100%, but the idea is to put in the effort and ensure at least we have reached some level. Now, again, over to you all. What are some of the forms of resilience or types of resilience you know of or you've come across? Yes, anyone? The forms, the types of resilience you've come across? Yes, psychological resilience. Yes, thank you, Alan. Somebody else?
Mental resilience.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Somebody else? Emotional and social resilience. Yes. Okay. Organizational resilience. Okay. I haven't heard from Breezy Tech. Breezy Tech, any form of resilience you know of, we've come across? Gloria? Yes, physical resilience too. Samuel? Anyone would like to share? Remember, there's no right or wrong answer. These are things I know we know. Okay. Excuse me. Pardon me. I'm battling a flu. I hope I'm audible enough. So we have physical resilience, and here we're looking at the body's ability to adapt to challenges. Okay. For example, how you quickly recover from an illness, injury, or any other physical demands. Number two, psychological resilience. Here we're looking at having and developing coping mechanisms so as to be able to adapt to uncertainties and so that you can also move on without prolonged negativity. A key thing to note under psychological resilience is the element of remaining calm under very stressful situations. Number three, emotional resilience. And here It's the ability to manage one's emotions by using one's resources to cope with adversity and stress. Simply put, it is the ability to understand what one is feeling and why. It's the ability to understand what one is feeling and why. The other is community resilience. And here we're looking at how groups of people respond and recover from adverse situations. There could be epidemics, there could be natural disasters, like what just happened, the floods. And here, this happens mainly due to strong connections and bonds that the community members have with each other. As you may be aware, people who are within a community, like in this instance, the informal settlements, they know each other. And because they know each other, relate well with each other, coming together and supporting each other in times of crisis is much easier, and hence community resilience. Finally, financial resilience. And here is simply the ability to leverage your savings, your passive sources of income, investments, it could be life insurance, in order to be resourceful when a setback hits. A good example, like right now, as you're aware, many young people are losing jobs. Many young people are unemployed. Many people are being laid off. So for you to be able to stay afloat for a period of time, you need to have you need to be financially resilient. And that can only happen if you have savings, passive sources of income. Passive basically means you're not engaged in an active activity in order to earn, like going to work and earning money. Then investments and life insurance. So, in summary, what have I touched on today? I've looked at the definition of resilience, the various aspects of resilience, which include adaptability, mental toughness, emotional regulation, optimism, problem solving, support systems, and self efficacy. You've looked at the types of resilience, that's the physical, psychological, emotional, community, and finally, financial. So, this brings me to the end of our session today, and I'd like to open the floor for any question or comment. Thank you. Question, comment? Okay, I guess silence means that I take it that we've all understood, you're all together. Kindly let me know with, again, thumbs up. We've all understood the session today. How did you find it? Kindly. No question. Okay. If there's no question, then I'd like to hand it over back to James. James, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Albert, so much for that session. It was surely interactive. I think we missed Albert a lot because Albert makes us talk and talk is charm. Yeah, and I can notice that our parents and CEO Dr. Macharia is not here today. But then that does not mean that he's not here with us in spirit. He's always here with us. Yeah, so because we still have a lot of time on our hand, and I've noticed this one is going to Susan and Frida that the forms, some of these people here are joining the next session, they don't know about Actuate or the plant and program. So maybe we can use some of this time to talk about that and also tell them when they can come and talk about creation of wallets and things like that. I don't know who can do that. Frida, Susan?
Yeah, so hello everyone. My name is Frida. And as you heard, after these sessions, you will be sent a form. It's a learn to earn program, which means that for participating in these sessions, you get some tokens. They're called Actuate tokens. So for you to get those tokens, you have to fill out a form at the end of this session. And yeah, so in that form, you'll fill out your details like your name, your number, and maybe your email address. And also at the end there, you'll get a section that says you have to fill out your wallet address. So this wallet address, you get it by downloading a digital wallet. And this digital wallet, you get it from your app store, which is maybe Google Play Store, or yeah, if you have an Android. And please, let's mute if you don't, you're not speaking. So this digital wallet, you get it from Google Play Store if you have an Android, or if you have an Apple phone, you can get it from your App Store. So it's called Trust Wallet, and you get it, it has a blue shield. You go and search on the search bar at Play Store, you search for Trust Wallet, and it brings an icon with a blue shield. So you download it, and then after downloading it, it will give you some, you click on create a new wallet, and then it gives you some phrases, 12 phrases for you so you take those 12 phrases and you write them down on a piece of paper or a book, and you store them well. And then afterwards, you're going to confirm those 12 phrases when creating the wallet, and it's just that easy. So I don't know, let me try to share my screen so that I can show you what wallet address looks like. So for me, there are different types of wallets, and we've said there's a Trust wallet and there's also a MetaMask wallet. So for me, I'm going to show you using MetaMask wallet. This one, I've downloaded it on my PC. So just a minute. And also, guys, if you're finding it, we also have a YouTube live stream. So be sure to also check us out there if Zoom brings any issues. So I'm going to open my MetaMask wallet and show you how to get your wallet address. So this is MetaMask, and at the top here, you can see these numbers and letters at the top here. This is what is called a wallet address. It mostly starts with OX, yeah. So this is what you copy from your wallet. You copy this address and you paste it in the forms. Yeah, so it's that simple. And after that, you can be able to get some Actuate tokens. And these tokens are usually distributed at the end of the month. So yeah, keep attending our lessons and you'll be able to get some Actuate tokens. So we have
Alibamba, you look funny. Nasikia kupiga picha nitumie.
please mute. Yeah, so that's how a wallet address, that's how a wallet looks like. So thank you. Back to you, James.
Yeah, thank you so much, Frida, for that. I know some of us have gotten that. And also, if you feel like you haven't gotten it yet, you can always DM Frida, me, Susan, Becca. There's so many of us. You can just DM us and we can do it. And something else is that we don't only have a mental health session, we have other sessions in Actuate biomedicine. We have the environment session, and these sessions run across the week. And since we are all here, so yes, I'd like to give some of them time, maybe to say something, maybe 2 minutes or a minute to say something, or you tell us about their session and when it is. I think I saw Becca. Yeah, Linda, so you can say something.
James, just a minute. I can see Alan has a question. The total of MetaMask, if you can use Ethereum main network address. Yes, actually, the address you get from MetaMask is the Ethereum main network address. So that's what you're using. You just paste, even for trust, we're using the main network address. So yes, as you've seen, as long as the wallet address starts with OX something, yeah, that's the Ethereum main network address, and that's what you're using. Yeah, so back to you, James, unless you have any more questions. Alan, does that answer your question? Okay, back to you, James.
Okay. Yeah, Alan, right? Okay, so Linda, can you say something? Are you at a position to say something? And also maybe the rest of us, we can say something. I can see Dolphin, but let's just start with her. Tell us something about the docket and Phil, so that maybe these people can be joining into those meetings.
Thank you, James. Your audio is not very audible, but thank you for this class. It was very engaging and educative, and I appreciate I learned a lot from this class. I would just like to mention that we also have our environmental health classes on Mondays from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. And we have our LinkedIn group as well for the environmental health, and a YouTube channel as well for all our videos and all the progress we've been doing in the faucet. So we normally share them in our group. So if you would kindly just watch the videos, like and comment, and also read our articles on Wayathi. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Linda. Sorry for my audio. Dolphin, can you say something about your document?
Okay. Hello, everyone. Okay, am I audible, James?
Yes, yes.
Okay, yeah, thank you for this session. Yeah, what I can say about Africa Women in DeFi is an initiative by Actuate Biomedicine, of which it's aimed to promote women participation in decentralized finance through incentivized-based learning using Actuate tokens. So we usually have our Learn to Earn every Tuesday from 8 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Yeah, you're free to join us and also follow us in all our social media, which are LinkedIn, WhatsApp, and Instagram, and also Facebook. So feel free to join. Yeah, in case of any question, you can reach out to me. Thank you, James, and back to you.
Thank you so much, Dolphin. Yeah, I can see we also have Grace Ngari with us. Grace, are you at a position of saying something?
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. I hope we are all doing good. The session for today was nice. On my side, I coordinate the biomedical knowledge translation faucet. I want to welcome you all for our Tuesday's session, which is always at 7 p.m., followed by the women in DeFi. So kindly keep note of that and have a nice time. On our LinkedIn page, we also have a group on the biomedical knowledge translation. Welcome you to join our group in the LinkedIn and also on the WhatsApp. Thank you. God bless you. Have a nice time.
All right, James. Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Okay. Hey, Doc. You can hear
Yes, I
me.
managed to join you eventually. Yeah, go ahead,
Yeah,
James.
yeah. So, Doc, we had finished with the meeting,
Yeah.
and because we have extra times on our hands, I decided we introduce our faucet so they know about the other topic.
Just to let you know, I listened to the meeting through the YouTube channel. So, ladies and gentlemen, you're all streaming on YouTube. I could not log into the WhatsApp. I mean, into the Zoom. I was in Boston at the genomic meeting conference, and I'll tell you more about that. But I did listen. I listened to Albert. Thank you so much for a wonderful presentation. So back to you, James.
Okay, Doc. Because yeah, I guess Frida can tell us about her docket because I think Frida you talked about the wallet, but you've not told us about when the class is, so we can also join and listen more about blockchain. So we can do Frida and then our team lead Empress can close for us. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, James. So on Saturdays, we have the blockchain and decentralized finance the sessions, yeah, from 8 p.m. East African time, where we learn about blockchain, what is blockchain, we learn how to create wallets, we learn about tokens, and you will get to learn more about Actuate tokens. And also on the decentralized finance, you learn how to swap these tokens and you learn how to create liquidity pools using the Actuate tokens you receive at the end of these learning sessions. So it's an interesting session, and we get to learn a lot about blockchain and decentralized finance. And you're all welcome to join us. We'll be holding these sessions using the Zoom meeting, or you can also join us on YouTube Live, as you heard. Yeah. So you're all welcome. Thank you, James.
Hey, Barbara.
Thank you so much, James, for this opportunity. I run the Actuate Water by Blockchain Faucet, and we do not have classes yet, but we shall begin classes very soon. Currently, we have a group on LinkedIn and WhatsApp, and those who haven't joined the groups, I will reshare the link so that you're able to join. And then I want to talk about the role of Actuate tokens in relation to resilience. And maybe I would like to start by saying that the introduction of Actuate tokens as a way to incentivize learners offers a way to enhance resilience across different domains, because the Actuate tokens serve as a decentralized digital currency that facilitates transactions, incentivizes sustainable practices, and promotes equitable resource distribution. And in terms of economic resilience, we can talk about incentivizing sustainability in the sense that Actuate tokens can be used to reward individuals and organizations for adopting sustainable practices such as reducing carbon footprints or conserving water. And this creates a financial incentive for behaviors that contribute to long-term resilience. Secondly, we can offer economic resilience through supporting local economies. Local businesses and community projects can use the Actuate tokens to facilitate trade and investment, thereby enhancing economic resilience by diversifying income sources and increasing financial inclusion. And then about community resilience, we can build social capital, and communities can use Actuate tokens to support mutual aid programs, local initiatives, and volunteer work. By assigning value to community contributions, these Actuate tokens help to strengthen social networks and foster a sense of collective responsibility. Secondly, we can enhance community resilience, by enhancing emergency response. Like during emergencies such as floods, Actuate tokens can be quickly distributed to the affected individuals for immediate relief, ensuring timely support and reducing the economic impact of disasters. Thirdly, about environmental resilience, we can promote conservation by the use of Actuate tokens to fund conservation projects and ecosystem restoration efforts. Like we have the Actuate Environment Club that is intending to plant trees, and that will be communicated very soon, where we are going to incentivize those who will participate in the activity using the Actuate tokens. And then the token holders can participate in governance decisions, directing resources to the most impactful initiatives. And then we can also do that by encouraging the use of renewable energy, and investments in renewable energy products can be facilitated through the Actuate tokens, promoting a transition to sustainable energy sources and reducing environmental vulnerabilities. Thank you very much, James. I'm done.
Yeah, that was amazing. Yeah, Barbara just said that we are impacting everywhere. We're not forgetting anyone. Yeah, we are everywhere. Before we move on, I'd like to welcome Susan. Susan, you're welcome. Susan.
Thank you so much, James. Personally, I don't lead any faucet, but I would like to first thank Albert for this wonderful session. It was an amazing session. Thank you for always teaching us about mental health. It's a very important subject that we should all discuss, especially because we are living in tough times. With everything that is happening, the economy, the floods, and everything else, we really need this, and we appreciate your effort into helping us through this. So thank you also, James, for leading us through this. And thank you everyone for joining this meeting. We appreciate you. We appreciate your attendance. Let's keep pushing on and doing what we have been taught today, being resilient in all circumstances. So thank you so much. Back to you, James. James?
Yes, Susan.
Yeah, yes. Back to you. And something else I actually forgot to mention. Um, it's about the distribution of tokens. So when you receive your tokens, make sure that your wallet is safe, because you are the only one who has access to your wallet. Just to echo what Frida said earlier, make sure that you write down your seed phrases, because these are the only things that have access that you can use to access your tokens, be it Actuate, be it any other tokens that you're holding in your wallet. If you lose the seed phrases and you happen to lose maybe to uninstall your wallet, or you lose your phone, or something happens to your account, the only thing that you can be able to recover, the only way you can be able to recover your wallet is through those seed phrases. So make sure that you write them down, and do not save them on your Google accounts. We have had before Google accounts being hacked. If your account is hacked and they have access to your Google account, they can access your wallet. So make sure that you save your seed phrases in a different place. We always recommend that you save them, or you write them down in a piece of paper. Put them where you put your documents, your very important document. Yes. So put them there, because if you lose the seed phrases, we cannot help you recover them. So make sure you do that. So thank you so much. Back to you, James.
Yeah, thank you so much, Susan. I think that is one thing we should all be aware of. Yeah, that you're the one who will that information. So be careful with it. I think today's session has been amazing because it's able to cover everyone in our time, and we've been able to talk about all these things and tell you how you can join us. And we have different attendance links to different meetings, and for the attendance form, we will share it in a bit. But right about now, I'd like to welcome Dr. Macharia. Doctor, when you are away, told us that our father was away. So yeah, I hope you are here with insights and advice. Yeah, you're welcome, Doctor.
Oh, thank you, James. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Albert. I listened to the presentation when I was on the way back home. This morning, I went to the Genomic Summit in Boston. It's kind of similar to our summit we are doing, we are planning in Nairobi. But Genomic Summit, we have all the big wigs of human genomics. They were all there. Plus, we met our own friend. I met with our own friends. The way I went there is to meet with Yusuf Enrique of Indigenous AI. You know, the Boston Genomic had flown him all the way from Washington, D.C. He's speaking tomorrow. But this morning, I had a meeting with him, a very long meeting, and we had a very beautiful conversation. And what I tell you about the summary of that conversation is that we have agreed we are going to do Indigenous AI, or the Human Genome Project in Africa. He already has started work in South Africa. And so we're going to mainstream that work through the Actuate Foundation. So you'll be seeing a lot of movement going forward. And so Boston is the epicenter for human genome. So it's a lot of protein science, genetics, sequencing, and all that, molecular biology. Yes. So that is why I could not come earlier. But then I also listened to Albert when he was talking about resilience. I remember who was teaching us about resilience many years ago was Paul. You know, Apostle Paul, when he was writing to the Romans. And we talk about resilience to what? To become resilient to what? We want to be resilient to stress. You know, last week we were talking about stress. So this is a very good follow-up to the resilience to the topic on stress. Stress is what you call trials. Trials produce what's called tribulation. Stress is a response. Stress is a response to trials. I think in the Holy Scriptures they call that tribulations. So when stress now manifests is when your resilience is breaking down till you get stressed. It's the reaction. And I think resilience is very, very important. You can see Paul was spent his whole time teaching, or whoever who would listen in a very long time ago, whoever would listen about how to overcome those trials and tribulations, how not to get tribulations because of trials. And Paul said that trials gives you, they need patience to overcome these trials, because you can get trials as an individual, yourself, your own human self, just, and this, you can get trials in your own career. When you're developing your own career, you get trials because these are exams. You have to pass your own exams. How do you pass an exam? If you get stressed with what people call exam fever, you can even forget the answers, that you're not able to answer your questions properly, and then you fail the exam. And you can fail things you already know in an exam. And how do you get into a situation where the exam does not stress you? We become resilient to the exam fever. And you see, that exam fever is for any individual, because that's happens at you at the individual level, that you don't forget your basic mathematics, like 2 + 2 is 4, or 2 × 2 is 4. You can forget that if you have a stress reaction. So it is a patience, and this whole resilience comes from patience. If you're patient, you're resilient, so you can learn to overcome that stress. And then, of course, that's resilience with your own self as an individual level helps you in your own personal development. It's an individual, it's personal stress dealing with it. And that is what is known as the length of life, that you can now grow, because even if trials come in a boatload, they don't bother you, because because you have faith, you have hope. Okay. Yeah. Second is that that's an individual level in your own personal development. Then you have economic stress or economic trials, where you run out of money and then you don't know what to do, or you lose a job. Again, that requires resilience, as Albert has told us. To become economically resilient, is think about, first of all, if you run out of money, it doesn't mean you have run out of life. See, it's not the same thing. Money is money. Money is separate to life. So it is quite usually people lose hope in life because they have lost life. They have lost economic, and then they start. When you lose the economic resource or economic source, then you can get so stressed that you cannot actually go out to look for another job, or you cannot even figure out what to do because you've run out of money. It looks like you have run out of life. What you want to understand is that these things like money, like exams, they are not life itself. Okay? You separate life from things that you say make life possible, but they are not. They don't even actually make life possible. What makes life possible is your attitude towards life. Those things themselves, they don't make life, because you can run out of money completely. Then what are you going to do? You have not died, so you get up and figure out how to get money. You work out. But what happens in a lot of us, say all of us, let's say, when get such a trial, like losing a job or losing their source of income, you get distressed that we don't know what to do. See, let me tell you, you know exactly what to do. The answer is already inside you. So long as you take a deep breath and calm down, and the answer comes to you. You find the answer. That applies to all types of loss. Because loss is the major triumph. You could lose something significant. You could lose something significant. See, like I lost my eyesight. Yes, I could have. For a while, I went through that stress reaction, saying that, why did I lose eyesight? Because I thought that the eyes The eyes used to lie to me, by the way. My eyes used to tell me that you cannot survive without eyesight. Yeah, because how can you know where you're going? How can you know what you're reading? How can you know what you're talking about? All those all those are lies that come from what? From the evidence of your senses. You know, you have 5 senses: the sense of sight, sense of touch, sense of smell, sense of taste. And those things they don't determine the life of a human being. They are known as the senses of the natural man, or the carnal senses. And these are the ones that produce your stress. But above that, life itself has nothing to do with having money. Life has nothing to do with having eyesight. Life has nothing to do with having legs. Life has nothing to do with having sense of hearing. Life has nothing to do with having sense of taste. So you don't stop living because you have lost any of those things. Like you have lost a job, you have lost money, you have lost this. You do not stop living. And because life is given to you in abundance, inside that life is a solution to all your needs. That is what's amazing inside that life. But if you start saying that I have lost this, so I cannot do this, then you are said to be a person who is feasting upon the fruits of knowledge of good and evil. See, that is known as Adam-Eve phenomenon. Adam-Eve phenomenon in the Garden of Eden. Adam and Eve, when they were sent there in that garden, we are told that they were fine in life. Life was good, and they were told to rely upon the tree of life. But come a few days later, their mind told them, listen, why aren't you eating this tree of knowledge, this fruits from the tree of knowledge of good and evil? And he says, we are told not to eat it. So eating the tree of knowledge of good and evil is when you get a trial. You get a trial, and then you start seeing the evil outcome in that trial, which is called the tribulation, and then you respond to that. Then at that point, you are feasting from the fruits of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. You know what happened? We are told, and these are illustrative, these are allegories to illustrate what happens to you when you feast upon such a fruit. That's getting stressed out of a trial. That means you're calling that trial an evil outcome. And then you create an evil outcome so you don't think you're going to survive it. Then you start complaining, okay, I don't have money now, I don't have a job, blah, blah. That means that you put it on the evil bucket. You see, when you eat from that tree, you have disregarded life itself. That you've separated yourself from your source of life. Okay, you separate yourself. That's what that story wants to illustrate to you, that you do not separate yourself from your life, because your life is given to you and your life is in abundance. If you disregard that, what you're told, that resist not evil, resist not evil. That means that resist not evil. All these trials that are coming to you, resist not. Don't even think about them as trials. If you think about them as trials, what happens? They become the trials. If you think about the trials you're going through, they become embodied. They get a physical form. This is the whole story. And you see, this is written in all these holy scriptures. Resist not evil. This means that if you do not resist the trial itself, the trial just disappears. It goes out of your consciousness. It's not a trial anymore. And this is very, very hard for human being to do, because we have got the human mind. And the human mind is the one that brings these problems. So how do you become resilient? To be resilient is to make that to make that evil that's coming, or that trial, to disregard it. Don't build a story upon it, because as soon as you build a story, it becomes real. But the evil itself is not real. See, if you lose your job, you have not lost your life. That's not real. So loss of job is not loss of life, and you still have a lot of life for you and in abundance. But so you can have economic stress. Same thing. That is, we just talked about the length of life as written in the New Jerusalem, the length of life. So there's the breadth of life, which means the relationship between yourself and other people. Other people could be your brothers and sisters, or your classmates, your workmates, or even your spouse. Now, those those relationships also give you a lot of stress. Well, they should not be stressful, because if you do not respond, they give you lots of trials. Every relationship is a trial. I mean, if you have to understand the other person, and many people come with it, everybody comes their own quirks, and then how do you deal with that? Okay, that is again, if you're feasting on the fruits from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. For example, when you're speaking to your spouse or speaking to your colleague, what you do, we have this thing called stereotype. Whatever sentence somebody is saying, we try to put it in a certain category, certain bucket, saying, oh, that is nonsense, that is stupid, that is this. So we judge them. So when you judge what other people are saying or what other people are doing, what are we doing? We have the knowledge of good and evil. So we can judge others that is if they're evil, whatever they say. And what that person is saying to you, or what is doing for you or doing to you, is not intended to be evil. And that is, but as soon as you categorize that as evil, what happens? That becomes evil. Now, resilience you're talking about is resilience to resist that idea of categorizing your friends, relatives, your spouses as evil beings. And this comes a lot to do with money, particularly in relationships. And people think that this person is not contributing enough to this relationship, or maybe is. I don't know. So you get quarrels. And that is the second instance of where consuming that fruit of knowledge of good and evil means that this person is bad because this person is not doing what? This person is evil because this person is not doing what? Or this person is good because this person is doing what? That is classifying your people in your relationship. Now, resilience is about overcoming that temptation to classify, or let's say that temptation to eat the fruits of knowledge from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Resist such temptation, because as soon as you do that, whatever you are thinking is evil is going to become evil. What this means that evil is actually constructed within your consciousness. And how you overcome that, we were given 2 or 3 instructions, and I don't know how. First of all, he said, love your enemy. You remember, and if your enemy slaps you on the right cheek, give him the left cheek also. Very difficult. That is resilience, because if you get a slap on the right, are you going to allow yourself to be slapped on the left? Then he said, if your enemy, if he asks you for a shirt, give him your coat also. Okay? If he asks you to walk for 1 mile, go with him 2 miles. To go 2 miles is an issue of resilience. Like you have to be willing to go with that person 2 miles. You see that? Now that's what talks about the breath of life. What Paul said about these things is that one of all these trials that you get, which can bring tribulations, you need to have a word is a boatload of patience. And then patience builds character, and character builds hope. And then Paul then said, there is no shame in hope. For if you have hope, that means hope for the relationship to work out, hope for your own advancement of career, hope that your economic situation is going to recover. That hope, what's called hope, is what is known as in the Christian scriptures, that's hope of glory or kingdom of God. See, you cannot get there unless you have hope. And the only thing that causes someone to fail to overcome is something called loss of faith. Okay, faith that these things are going to work. If you don't have faith that you're going to find a job, everything is going to work out, you have hope, then things will never work out. So you cannot be resilient if you're hopeless. See? But there's no shame in hope. So what Paul was saying to insist on that is that somebody could try to show you, other people could try to, or yourself, your own mind could be telling you that you should not be in that situation, so it makes you feel hopeless. That you should also be apologizing to other people for being in that situation. You don't need to apologize to anybody for having lost a job. You don't need to apologize to anybody for being in economic hardship. You don't even need to apologize to anyone for going through any trial. Even you don't need to apologize to anyone for losing something. And don't feel pity upon yourself. What you want is to have hope. And because in hope, there is no shame. If you want to know where all that comes from, you can read the letters to the Romans. Letter to the Romans, they said, in hope, there is no shame. That is how you build resilience, to know that you don't need to be ashamed of anything. Okay? Now you have lost nothing because your life is present and your life is abundant. But your mind can tell you, again, out of feasting from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, that you're experiencing evils, certain evils. You know that there's no evil you're experiencing. And you see, the ultimate lesson, how you get into that for loss of resilience, is because you are judging situations based on your own understanding. Like, do not rely upon your own understanding to judge situation. That is what you're told. Judge not, or you shall be judged. What that means that as soon as you judge something as evil, then you are judged by the same judgment. Because you're told for whatsoever measures you meet, those measures shall be met against you. The worst is that they are not just met against you, they come fully loaded, packed up, shaken together, and running over. Those measures come back to you. Whatever you do, it comes back to you. And that means that instead of going through the tribulation, the trial itself, you come out much worse. So resilience, so you can say, what are the basic principles of resilience? One, do not judge, because judging means that you're feasting upon the fruit of knowledge of good and evil. Otherwise, you're getting into what is known as Adam and Eve syndrome. You see, Adam and Eve syndrome. And guess what? What happened to Adam? You don't have to guess, it is written. After Adam and Eve went and feasted upon that fruit, they were kicked out of the Garden of Eden. Eden is your consciousness, your Christ consciousness, that consciousness that helps you to get through such trials. That's Eden. You are kicked out. Then you lose sight on life because you don't go to the tree. You don't want to eat from the tree of life. You lose sight to life, where life has abundance. So getting kicked out, it means as Adam and Eve were told in a story, is that they shall be eating from the sweat of their brow. And life is going to be very, very hard for them. So all they had to do is stay there and believe and have hope. And because in hope, there's no shame. They should not have felt ashamed that, okay, there's this fruit here, we're not eating from it. There's this tree. And then to say, how can you be having such a beautiful fruit and so delicious and you don't eat from it? You see, That is what's, so you're made to feel ashamed for not having something or not doing something or having, and not being able to make a decision or not judging. All that stuff is material sense, which is you could call it material nonsense, because material, which is made by the human mind, is up to nothing. Yeah. That's why even Paul himself, the flesh profits nothing. The flesh profits nothing. So, well, that's what I would like to say about those. Then, I thank you so much for this thing about resilience. So resilience is something very, very hard to do because of trials that we get. But then we go into tribulations, which is responding to stress, to trials. Well, next. Now, this is very exciting with this mental health. I think going forward, we are in the second half of 2024. And I think we're going to dive deep into what we call quadratic funding to see how can we fund this in the long term and quadratic funding so that we can make this thing very, very sustainable. We have the Actuate token, and Frida has explained to you what it's all about, Hadim and Barbara, and all these other faucets. So at the core, you could say, let's say, what is tying all of us together is Actuate token. And in order for this Actuate token to continue doing its job for tying us together, which is called the stickiness factor, sticking us together. And I would like you to buy the book known as Healthcare on Blockchain, which we published. You can buy the book so you can learn about the stickiness factor. And so, by the way, so the actual token itself, we're going to use it to do quadratic funding. And over the next 1 month or 4 weeks or so, 8 weeks, let's say July, August, all the way to December, we shall talk about quadratic funding for mental health. That how do we make money available for mental health services? And that we have to create a systematic way of fundraising. And see, this quadratic funding would come from for funding for community education, like what we are doing here, all the way to the deep science, like what you are talking at the Boston Genomic Summit, funding genomic sequencing with indigenous AI. So, and other people that I have met today in Boston at the Genome Conference. And of course, the same thing with the quadratic funding. It's going to spread to environmental health, the water on blockchain, Actuate water, and quadratic funding also for health access. Now, health access is a huge, broad topic, but you can see if you're talking about these issues about mental health, our own education program, then we want to also understand how this fits into the big picture. And so one final thing I would like to tell you is about the summit in Nairobi. And as you know, we have been hard at work creating our summit, and all of you have the opportunity to present your work at the summit, to come in and shine at that summit. And the way that you will be able to present is by creating posters. So posters are not difficult, they're not expensive to create. You can create a poster in your laptop, Microsoft PowerPoint, and then eventually you get that poster printed out and then it's going to be displayed. If you have large TV screens, we can have the posters presented on the TV screens themselves, the Microsoft. I don't know whether we're going to have. There's going to need a lot of coordination to get people like Toshiba to give us large TV screens. If we don't do that, we would still have to do printed out posters. So for your poster, you want to present your work, and it would be very beautiful to explain how blockchain, decentralized finance, and artificial intelligence can help to make your work even better. For example, if you're working on a mental health program like community education for mental health, like psychology interventions, you can create a poster saying decentralized finance and artificial intelligence can help improve the work that we're doing in this way or the other. You see? So these are poster presentations, and for a conference, you can have a limited number of posters. So don't think that you are too many, because posters can be we're going to put them out there and display them, but then also display them on the website, meaning that your posters will be visible to the entire world. We shall publish them on the website. Secondly, for those who can speak, would like to speak maybe for about 30 minutes, 30 minutes, we give them opportunity for speaking podium presentation. And that is 15 minutes with a Q&A session that you would be answering questions about what you, and then you can present your research or whatever you're doing. And that gives you a very good opportunity to show the world what you're doing and people discover you. Then the other way, if you feel up to it and you're good at it, you can create a workshop. Just like what you do, we actually need to have a mental health workshop. And so you can teach a workshop. And if we're going to set aside, particularly for mental health, we're going to have a full-scale mental health workshop, which is going to be for full 4 days. That even we have inside clinics where people can come and have one-on-one conversations. And between those one-on-one conversations, we have a workshop going on addressing the full spectrum of, say, the full range of mental health issues, ranging from the severe clinical problems like schizophrenia, depression, coming to all the life issues such as what you're talking about today, which is resilience. These are issues that are not in the psychiatric manual, but they are written in the Holy Scriptures, which actually everybody should understand. Like the knowledge of good and evil is not appearing in the psychiatric manual, but appears in your manual of life, which is called the Holy Bible or the Quran, depending on which holy manuscript you read. Okay, so we shall have a workshop. And so then another way to participate is just come in as an attendee. See? So there are so many ways to participate in the summit. But you remember, we have told you that you can make a lot of money, and you will make a lot of money finding sponsors. The reason we say these things is because we want to co-create. We are co-creating this summit, and we want you to bring your best foot forward. Remember, finding sponsors is not very difficult because these are people you already know. All you have to tell them is that we are doing the summit. This is what you're going to do. Come in and sponsor the summit, and you're going to get these returns. Okay, and I'm sure by now you know the different type of sponsorship categories. And you want, if you don't know the sponsorship categories, I think it's good that you reach out to someone like James and Susan and Frida. They're all here, and they can tell you the sponsorship categories and also the language to talk to the sponsors. Because the sponsors, people who are sponsors, like a sponsor, these are people in business. People in business have something they want to sell. Okay. And who are they selling the product to? If they can't see who they're going to sell the product to, then they are not going to come to the summit. But if they can understand that we are here to sell this product, then they will be very, very happy to show up. Yes. So how, I think the most obvious one is the pharmaceutical industry. People in pharmaceutical industry would like to sell medicines, but they don't sell medicines to individuals. Their doctors prescribe the medicines. So we have to convince doctors that the medication is very good for this type of condition, so that the doctors can prescribe those medications. So as pharmaceutical companies want to hear that there's going to be doctors there. Now, because you're talking about mental health, pharmaceutical companies dealing with mental health products like anti-schizophrenia medications or antidepressants, or even medication against epilepsy or Parkinson's disease, they want to hear that you have psychiatrists, and psychologists in the summit. We try to invite psychologists and psychiatrists, and because you're going to have a mental health workshop, that mental health workshop will be fully sponsored by a pharmaceutical company. You want to be the one bringing that pharmaceutical company, because that pharmaceutical company will have to pay $10,000 to sponsor the mental health workshop, and 5% of that money, $10,000, will come into your pocket. That's about what, $500. That will come into your wallet. Yes. So because you're going to have a workshop and you have a workshop on mental health to sell, then you can sell to a pharmaceutical, convince the pharmaceutical company there's going to be a mental health workshop, and it's going to be 4-day sessions talking about the full spectrum or full range of mental health illnesses. See, that is, and then of course the summit is going to be, besides mental health, there's going to be a whole range of other diseases, beginning from the diseases of the head, the brain, which is mental health, going down to the diseases of the eyes. Then with ophthalmology, so the companies that deal with ophthalmology issues, they want to hear that you have a workshop on ophthalmology, then they come and sponsor it. And then we have a workshop on hearing issues, that's ENT, ear, nose, and throat, hearing a smell. And then we have a summit on teeth issues, that's dentations, dental, periodontal diseases, that's the teeth. And then we have a summit on hormones, which is a endocrine system, like thyroid and diabetes, insulin. So the companies that make all those things, and then companies that deal with digestive problems, that is your stomach, your gullet, and your intestines. And there are all companies that deal with that. I'm sure you, because you're in a big community, you know people, a lot of people from all those different places. And there are also companies that deal with reproductive health. It's women health, reproductive from perspective of women. That means ovaries, uterus, and what goes on in a female reproductive system. And then the male reproductive system also, we have companies that deal with that. And then there are companies that deal with products for muscles and bones, orthopedic or musculoskeletal issues, for orthopedic matters. And then there are companies that deal with surgical programs. And so we're going to have workshops in all those areas. And these workshops are workshops about how we are using, or how they help to use the blockchain, decentralized finance, and artificial intelligence for a particular field. Question is, how do we use decentralized finance and artificial intelligence for mental health? So then this is going to be the workshop, how do we make mental health accessible through the use of DeFi and artificial intelligence. Yeah. So this is a big opportunity that you have. If you understand the language, the conversation, then it becomes natural that you will be able to present to people, and then they can come in and become sponsors. Yeah. And then of course you write your own paper, as we said, for poster. And it's actually through creating a poster like that you would even know which companies to speak to for sponsorship. Then for non-medical companies, for example, people in technology, for example, a telecommunication, what we are doing right now would not be possible without if Safaricom did not come to Kenya in the early 2000s. Okay, so we want Safaricom is at the center of this. or even other companies that came later, like Airtel. So these are telecommunications organizations, companies. And these are the people who create the the infrastructure, let's say, for telecommunication, which makes such meetings like what you're having now possible. We want them to come to that meeting, first of all, to thank them for making this possible. And second, to tell them that we can do even more. What do we do, particularly to make health accessible? Because how do we deliver healthcare on the telecommunication infrastructure they have already built? Second is people who sell devices. These are people like Samsung and who else? Who are we? And the like, and they sell devices that people use to access the information on the information system that Safaricom and Airtel have built. See, we want them to come, and of course, and then there are other people who build who build the applications, who make the applications possible. The use of apps. These are people like Google. We have been having Google Meets. Even this meeting is streaming on YouTube already. So, and companies like Cisco, database companies like Oracle, they are very, very relevant to this conversation because ultimately, artificial intelligence or even the blockchain itself, decentralized finance, will not work without what? Without these telecommunication companies being present and understanding what you're doing, so they can help us gain access to all that. So this, and of course, this is all engineering, and then eventually there are manufacturers, engineers who make things. So there are companies who are, it's a biomedical engineering. We want to have them. And then the clinical providers, the providers of clinical care. This includes hospitals and clinical services. Well, so that is about the summit itself. Well, basically, thank you so much, everyone, for being here today. And back to you, Mr. Mr. James. And let know. Let me stop there so that we can back to you, Mr. James, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Doc, for all that. Yeah, it's been amazing. This one has been amazing, and I have shared the form, the attendance form on Facebook. And I'll just fill it. Yeah, and in case you have any question, also you can ask right now so that we can talk it also. So, in case you have anything you'd like to reach out to someone, I guess all of us are in the WhatsApp group. If you're not, you can also communicate in the WhatsApp. Yeah, so I'll give you like 30 minutes to just fill it. After you fill it, just fill it. And this meeting is adjourned. Thank you so much for attending.
All right. Have a good one. Thank you.